down the stretch. And they still have so much to play for, as you know. They're only sitting on top of the AFC North, by a half a game. So they're still trying to solidify not only the division itself, but still have a relatively decent shot at a first round bye, if I'm not mistaken. So, I mean, this is a team riding a wave of confidence after beating New England. They know how good they are. So it's just a matter of putting it together. This could be a game that goes down to the wire. And I think I expect it.
Yeah. It might come down to kicks, which means it could be a remake of the Saints game against the Browns, where the Browns should have won that game if they had a good kicker. So I hope that doesn't happen and it comes down to a Boswell kick, because that could get real interesting.
Yeah, it could. And I don't know what has happened to that young man. I mean, he was money leading up to this season, and he's got a clear case of the yips. Yeah. Boswell has. Now he hit that big vital kick against New England, and that might turn it around. Kickers' confidence level, especially when they're young like that, it's always like a roller coaster. So that could be a season turning point for him. Plus, he's not having to worry about kicking in the elements this Sunday. That dome has been friendly to kickers. New Orleans kicker Will Lutz, he has kicked, and God, I hate myself for saying this because I know it's a jinx, but he has hit 25 straight field goals. So, so if it comes down to a kicking game, I still have confidence in Boswell. I know a lot of Steeler fans don't, but he is as skilled a kicker as they come. Again, if the Steelers are lining up to kick a game-winning or a game-tying field goal late, I'm still going to be at the edge of my seat.
Yeah. All right, sir. Thank you so much. Bob Rose at Bobby R2613, writer for Canal Street Chronicles and host of Bayou Blitz podcast. Thank you so much. This was awesome.
Oh, I appreciate you having me on. And again, Merry Christmas to all you guys out there. I'm hoping you come away Sunday with a disappointment, but other than that, I hope you have a great holiday season.
All right. Thanks a lot.
Take care.
Bye. Steelers and Saints in a huge matchup for both teams. With me to talk about it is Johnnie Black. He's at jball0222 on Twitter, and the founder of the Scorecrow. How are you, sir?
I'm good, Joey. How you doing? I know we're usually here to talk baseball, but today's a little different.
This is I'm so surprised. I don't remember how we got to talk about it. I think, but I was just really surprised that you were a Saints fan. How'd that happen?
Yeah, well, I grew up in northern Jersey, Jersey City area, and a couple of guys back in the 80s, Sam Mills went to Montclair State University, about 15 minutes away from where I grew up, and the other guy, Ironhead Hayward, who was the father of Cam Hayward, who plays for the Steelers. He grew up in Paterson, New Jersey, went to Passaic Valley High School and stuff like that. So when they became Saints in the early 80s, I kind of started following football then and was paying more attention to it and realized that I had a couple guys from Jersey on the team. So I kind of just started following them, black and gold. They played in a dome. They were getting good. So that's pretty much how I started following them and been a fan ever since.
That's great. Good stuff. So the Saints are doing really well. I mean, best record in the league? Can't get any better than that.
Yeah, 12-2 right now.
Yeah. But what's going on with Drew Brees? He hasn't been very good lately.
No, the offense has struggled. There's no doubt. Since the Thursday night game in Dallas where we lost 13-10, it just seems like we're sputtering a little bit. I think a large part of that is we don't have a second receiver, really. I mean, Michael Thomas, we all know, he's the top 5 receiver in the league. But when you don't have anyone else, then it makes it tough because he's been double teamed, triple teamed the past few games. We have Traquan Smith, the rookie on the outside that was supposed to take over for Ted Ginn's spot, be the speed guy, stretch the field. But he hasn't been great. The other kid we have is Kirkwood. He's been okay, but he's more of a possession guy. Ben Watson is 38 years old as a tight end. It's just not a lot of other weapons we have in the passing game as far as other than Michael Thomas. We tried to sign Des Bryant, and of course we got him. It was looking good for a day, and then he tore his Achilles, and he was out for the year, so that hurt. But yeah, I think not having that second option in the passing game has hurt, definitely.
So basically, yeah, you shut down Michael Thomas, and then that's it. That's that's a nice luxury the Steelers have. They have Antonio Brown, and most teams key on him, but Juju has emerged as a great other threat. I mean, that's the Steelers' problem is we don't have a third wide receiving option, but it sounds like your problem is you don't have a second wide receiving option. So, yeah, it's a nice luxury to have for the Steelers.
Yeah, having Juju there is great. I mean, he's been just as good as Antonio Brown this year, just about. I mean, he's been kind of the 1A.
There actually is a debate. It's like, has Juju surpassed Antonio Brown? And I mean, really, it's not a fair comparison because Antonio Brown gets the double teams, he gets all the best coverage, right. And Juju's able to, but Juju is making the most of those opportunities. So you can't take away anything from him because he is making some great catches and not exactly easy things because he's not the fastest guy. He's not doing it through speed. He's just doing it by getting those combat catches and he'll just catch anything near him. So yeah, he's having a great year. Speaking of which, the Saints defense, they're almost as good as the offense. I mean, it's a very balanced team, except for the passing attack. Is something not right with their pass defense?
Well, the pass defense has been a work in progress, all year. We started off the year, we got 48 points hung on us in New Orleans by Tampa Bay to start the season where we lost the first game. But since then, it's been getting better, and I think a large part of that had to do with other than Marshawn Lattimore, we didn't have another cover guy really. Crowley was meh. The past couple of weeks, it's been better. We've had more pressure on the quarterback. Now that we have Davenport back, our first round pick, that helps, the pass rush on the other side of Cam Jordan, and getting Eli Apple from the Giants a few weeks ago, that was big because Eli Apple was a first-round pick a few years ago, by the Giants, and he had the drama going on there last year. It was dissension, and he just never panned out as like a first-round pick and everything. So when we got him this year, I was like, oh, what are we getting here? What are we doing? But I think the change of scenery helped him out. And I think coming into that locker room, being how the Saints did last year, they were a good team last year, and how they kind of gel as a unit. I think they took him in, and I think the change of scenery and everything like that, playing on a winning team, I think that's helped a lot. And Eli Apple had a great game the other day on Monday. I mean, he had a really good game, making tackles, breaking up passes. So he's been showing the reason why he was a first round pick. So I'm hoping that stays. I mean, the Carolina game was just ugly, but you know what? We won it 12-9. The defense stepped up when we had to. I mean, Carolina had the ball in the fourth quarter with 2 minutes left. Just needed to drive down the field and kick a field goal, and we stopped them. So I just don't want to depend on that, but the defense has looked better. And luckily, they've been kind of carrying the team the past couple weeks.
Yeah, it's another good thing about the Saints defense is they get a lot of sacks. Is Cameron Jordan their big threat?
Yeah, well, Cam Jordan, yeah, definitely. He's the big guy there. He's the vet there. The guy we traded for to move up in the first round, Marcus Davenport, he was hurt for a little while, but he's back. We kind of play him more on passing downs. He's kind of not the every down guy, but we're moving him into like the starting role. But having him there is he's basically an athletic freak, the guy on the outside. So having him on the other side, and then the guy on the defensive line that's kind of the unsung hero is Sheldon Rankins. He was a first round pick a few years ago. The defensive tackle we have. He's been great this year. And the Saints, I believe they're top 3 in the NFL in run defense. So he's been a big part of that defensive line in the middle. He gets some pressure, and you know what it is like when you have a quarterback. If the pressure, you can kind of expect the pressure on the outside from like a Cam Jordan or whatever. But when you get pressure up the middle, and that blows up the pocket, that's huge for getting the quarterback like a Roethlisberger or whoever, getting them off their spot, off their lane. Mm-hmm. And Rankins has been great at that. So I think it's not just the sacks. It's the fact that we've been able to move quarterbacks around and get pressure from different spots. And I think that's helped a lot.
Yeah. And the other thing, maybe even when Breeze in the passing game isn't going so well, at least you have that dynamic duo of Kamara and Ingram. Man, that's a nice luxury to have. That's what the Steelers were hoping to get with Le'Veon Bell and James Conner. But how are they being used, and why are they doing so well?
Well, they're good because they complement each other well. I mean, Ingram is more of the between the tackles runner, the bigger dude, and he can handle the load. Kamara showed earlier this year. I mean, Ingram was suspended for the first 4 games this year. Kamara showed he could handle the load for the first few games in the between the tackles. But Kamara's more of the pass catching back. Ingram's more of the pound it in the middle. And the way they use them, that's exactly the way they use them. Ingram can catch the ball out of the backfield, and Kamara can run inside. But having them mix it up, keeping them both fresh, even putting them on the field at the same time, which they don't do as much of as I would like to see, because I think that'd make the offense a little more dynamic, and I think that's what they need to start doing because of their lack of a second receiver. I think they need to put Ingram and Kamara in the backfield, kind of give the defense a little something else to think about. But they complement each other well. It's going to be interesting to see what happens after this year because Ingram's a free agent. So interested to see if they hang on to him or not.
Probably not, because I mean, like you said, Ingram was suspended and Kamara did, just fine without him. So, yeah. Right. But so, how do you think this will play out? Do you think this will be a low-scoring game, or you think this will be a shootout?
I think it's going to be a shootout, personally. I know the Saints defense has been playing well, and obviously the Steelers defense played great. You guys beat Tom Brady and the Patriots this week. So I mean, yeah. that was huge. I mean, that was kind of the Steelers season right there. I mean, because if you would have lost that game, you would have been back. The Ravens would have had it would have been in first place.
Yeah, basically the Steelers are playing for their playoff lives. They can't. I mean, they're only a half a game ahead of Baltimore, so they I believe the Ravens play the Chargers this week, which everybody's expecting them to lose. But hey, who knows what's actually going to happen? So I mean, the Steelers have like no room for error. So they're saying that every game is a playoff game right now. So that's how they're treating it. I think most people expect, because the Saints are doing so well this year and they're at home, that they're going to win. But I mean, really anything can happen. And, like I said, the Steelers, because they lost to the freaking Raiders, are now like struggling. Yeah. Like, I don't understand how a team can lose to the Raiders but beat the Patriots. Like that's just so crazy. So they are fighting for their lives. So it's going to be really interesting to see how it all plays out, because I mean the Steelers, they did everything well against the Patriots, but then again, it's like it's playing the Patriots is like playing a video game on like the hardest level, and you just can't beat it. And then eventually everything goes right,